Those of you who have just entered in, welcome, and we will call names by 6. When you come up here and finish testifying, we will ask you to exit via that door to make room for the next group. The next group will be Elaine Balsley, Mia Diaz, Donna Schmidt, Cheryl Smith, Dr. Garza, Danielle Vincent, and they will be followed by Charity Farrar, Margaret Meacham, Jackie Tate, Jayla Robinson, Lene Hicks, and Diane Kramer. And let us begin with Elaine Balsley.
Yes, my name is Elaine Balsley. I'm from the Houston area. I'm representing myself and Houston Coalition for Life, and we're for SB1. I've been in the hospital setting for many years as a respiratory therapist. It has got me to greatly appreciate life from conception to natural death. This setting also has me to know that there is a high standard of care that needs to be met to help to be beneficial to the human person. SB1 will increase safety standards for abortion facilities. It will require abortions in Texas, RU 486, to be done by FDA safety standards, requiring physicians who perform abortions to be qualified to treat life-threatening complications after a botched abortion. Also, banning abortions on unborn children at 20 weeks helps to help these babies because they feel pain. Protecting the unborn from pain, educating people, and increasing safety standards for women at these abortion facilities is what Texas needs. I've heard people say this bill will hurt the poor. Who is more poor than the unborn? These babies have nothing. They depend upon us for protection. God is our creator. God is love. Thank you.
Thank you. Mia Diaz.
Thank you, Chair and Committee. My name is Mia Diaz. I reside in Dallas, Texas. I represent myself, and my senator is John Corona. I'm a proud Texas resident and here to testify against Senate Bill 1. As all human beings, I am for life, but also definitely pro-choice and common sense. I grew up without a grandmother, and my father grew up without a mother. My grandmother had 5 children already when she learned that she was pregnant with her 6th. She was barely able to feed her children. Lack of support and lack of safe available options led her to seek the only alternatives on her own, and as a result, lost her life. Texas bill controls when, where, and how a woman can seek health care and make it harder on women to access affordable basic women's health and sex education services, which will lead to less women pursuing education careers and gain independence. This bill is not protecting women, it's oppressing women. The bill jeopardizes women's health and well-being. All women, including women in Texas, must have legal right to choose unconstrained by harassment, unavailability of care, or other barriers. It's a constitutional right. ACOG, THA both agree the admitting privileges are not appropriate and are unnecessary in an emergency situation. Additionally, Scott Macker Institute research found 42% of women who have abortions have income levels below federal poverty line. The risk is low. Yet, you continue saying that women will be safer. I don't believe that there are medical evidence in regards to fetal pain. Where are the evidence? This bill restricts access to clinics, and as an American citizen, I believe that the government should never cause hardship to its people.
Thank you, ma'am.
Please consider not to vote for SB1.
Thank you. Ms. Schmidt?
I am Donna Schmidt. I'm here representing myself and the Life Choices Medical Center in support of SB1. I am a constituent of Senator Uresti. I live in Mico, Texas, which is just outside of San Antonio. I am a nurse, an RN, and for the last 17 years I have worked as a school nurse. I had an incident, excuse me, right before my first year as nursing where I had a young lady come to my clinic. She had protected her baby for 20 weeks of pregnancy before coming to me and asking me for help.
She said her mother was going to force her to get an abortion. She was asking me and the counselor to help her. We tried, but we couldn't because at 22 weeks her mother took her to Austin and forced her to have an abortion. I called CPS and they told me that this young lady could call CPS for help in the car on the way to the abortion clinic. She was 13 years old. I've had many young girls come to me for help, and I have been so saddened at the fact that I couldn't help them because I am a post-abortive woman. 43 years ago, I had an abortion. My parents forced me to go and have it. My church said that they couldn't have visible sin in the church, and so I was to have that abortion. And I am so thankful now that my church stands on the Word of God instead of distorting it like many churches do. I was hurt by abortion. I had very strong psychological post-abortion syndrome where I had shame and guilt and depression and suicidal thoughts. 26 years after the abortion, God led me to a healing program called Forgiven and Set Free. And it has truly healed me, and He is now using me in a crisis pregnancy center where we can help young ladies. We can give them resources. We can tell them the truth of informed consent, which I never had. I ask you, please, to support Senate Bill 1.
Thank you for your testimony. Ms. Smith?
My name is Cheryl Smith. I'm a third-generation Austinite. My representative is Eddie Rodriguez. I represent myself, and I'm against SB 1. Thank you for this hearing. Previous testimonies have eloquently stated the unnecessary hardship SB 1 would place on many Texas women for prenatal care, cancer screening, contraception, and care of their newborns. You've heard all these things and so many more. Ever since this bill was originally introduced, I kept asking myself, who benefits from this? Certainly not Texas women, that's for sure. And Governor Perry, why would he call not one but two very expensive special sessions for something that didn't pass in regular legislative session? It can't be good for him politically to anger so many Texas women. I couldn't understand the motivation. Then a couple of days ago, a friend of mine showed me the money trail. Governor Perry's sister, Mila Perry Jones, is a lobbyist for ambulatory surgical centers and physician-owned hospitals. There it is. Now this whole debacle makes so much more sense, especially by combining the fetal pain bill with the ASC bill. He's using this very emotional, hot-button topic for monetary gain. I say shame on him and his cronies. Now, if currently existent clinics are grandfathered in as they presently exist, I would feel much better about this elected legislative body. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Dr. Garza?
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Martha Garza. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. Dr. Campbell, I'm your constituent, and I applaud you for your courage, Senator Hager. I'm a native Texan. I received my education and training all but 2 years in Texas, and I've taken care of Texan women for 31 years. I feel I'm very well qualified, perhaps better than most of you, if not all of you, to speak as an advocate of women's health in Texas. You see, while you're deciding how women's lives will be treated in abortion facilities by laws and politics, I'm in the trenches saving lives, trying to save reproductive organs, spirits, and families of women who have been to abortion clinics. I've got about 2 minutes to help you see reality. I will be graphic, and I don't apologize. These are real cases. For I have touched and taken care of your daughters, your wives, and your granddaughters. The first patient is a 13-year-old Mexican-American teenage girl brought in by her mother who was taken for an abortion. They had been told to go to any hospital for any complication. The clinic did not have a physician or nurse to handle after-hours calls. On exam, she was found to be septic, high temperature, high white blood cell count, tachycardic, etc., with 2 loops of lacerated intestines coming through the vagina from a hole in the uterus created through the abortion procedure. The woman was discharged about 2 months later, permanently sterile, menopausal. I had to resect the uterus and the ovaries to save her life. Second woman related that she came to San Antonio from Laredo for the RU486 uncomplicated procedure. She almost hemorrhaged to death in the shower, thinking she was bleeding to death, passing out and coming to several times. Her relationship ended very shortly afterwards, and she has not been able to be in a relationship since then. Third patient is a 35-year-old married woman who had a surgical procedure which she failed to reveal to me until on sonograms, working her up for sepsis, I saw a fetal head in the uterus. Abortion is a surgical procedure, therefore any abortion clinic has to be held to the highest level of standards.
Thank you, Dr. Garza.
Thank you.
Ms. Smith. Oh, Senator Campbell had a question.
May I ask something, Doctor?
Senator Campbell.
How are those are complications. How are those reported? Because they, testify that we really have minimal complications that are reported, and you've given some cases. Can you speak to some of the complications that don't seem like they're reported?
Dr. Campbell, in the hospitals where I work in the emergency rooms where these women come in, I've never been handed a complication form to fill out. So it's all a matter of coding.
And similarly, I'm an emergency room physician awarded, and the complications I've seen, we haven't, and they just go right on up to an OBGYN to take care of the complication. Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Senator Campbell. Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Chair and Committee. My name is Danielle Vincent. I reside in Denton, Texas, and I'm a constituent of Senator Craig Estes. I'm here to testify against Senate Bill 1. This is my second week to drive to Austin from Denton to show my opposition of this bill, and it frustrates me to no end that we are discussing women's rights to make their own choice during a special session. The only crisis I see that needs to be addressed in this government is this government's ability and willingness to listen to its people. This is not a debate over pro-abortion or pro-birth, and it's not a debate over religion's involvement in the state's decisions. This is about recognizing that each and every woman deserves, just as each and every man currently has, the right to make their own decisions that affect their own lives. If you require these clinics to meet the bill standards to qualify them as ambulatory surgical centers, where will the money to improve all of these current clinics come from? Or maybe I should ask, whose pocket the money spent on improving these clinics will end up in? I think Governor Perry might have an idea, because it's certainly not going to be used to improve the affected population's access to the remaining clinics, or to improve the sexual education material being used currently, or even to improve the lives of the people who are already living and struggling to live and eat and get a decent education in Texas. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Thanks all of you.